In the sleepy hillside town of Larimore, a young baker named Sion had a dream. It wasn't just about making bread. It was about creating the finest loaf the world had ever known, a bread so perfect it could save his struggling little shop. Every night, long after the last customer had gone, Sion would stay behind, experimenting with flours, yeasts, and secret ingredients. He imagined a loaf so incredibly soft, so fragrant, that people would journey from miles away just for a single taste. One afternoon, buzzing with excitement after what felt like a breakthrough, he decided to share his grand vision with a few townspeople gathered in the square. He described the texture, the aroma, the miracle bread he was determined to create. But instead of encouragement, he was met with a chorus of smirks and dismissive shrugs. A miracle bread? Sion, that's impossible, one scoffed. Another added, just stick to the basics, son. Don't get ahead of yourself. A third chimed in, why waste your time on something you can't possibly achieve? Their words hit him like a cold wave, extinguishing the fire of his passion. His confidence crumbled. Defeated, he went back to his bakery, packed away his special ingredients, and abandoned his dream. Weeks turned into a month, and the once hopeful energy in Sion's bakery faded. The shop grew quieter, the bread more ordinary. The silence was no longer filled with the promise of creation, but with the heavy weight of a dream given up. Then, one day, an elderly traveling chef named Amar wandered into town. He was a man whose face was a roadmap of distant lands and countless kitchens. He bought a simple loaf from Sion, took a thoughtful bite, and paused. You have skill, Amar said, his voice gentle but firm. But your bread has no focus. It's missing a soul. Tell me, why did you stop aiming higher? Sion, surprised by the directness of the question, found himself pouring out his story, the late-night experiments, the grand dream, and the laughter from the townspeople that had silenced him. He explained how their doubt had made him feel foolish. Amar listened patiently, then shook his head with a knowing smile. Young man, he said, his words landing with profound clarity, a seed cannot grow if you keep digging it up to show others. You can't expect a sprout to flourish if you expose its fragile roots to the harsh judgment of the world. The greatest creations, the most powerful ideas, are nurtured in silence. They must be protected from the noise of doubt, the wind of interruption, and the chill of disbelief. Those words struck Sion like a bolt of lightning. A seed cannot grow if you keep digging it up. The image was so simple, yet so powerful. He had been so eager for validation that he had exposed his delicate dream to those who couldn't see its potential. And in doing so, he had allowed them to crush it. That night, something shifted within him. A new resolve, quiet but unshakable, took root. He returned to his dusty, forgotten corner of the kitchen with a renewed sense of purpose. This time, however, he would tell no one. His new routine began in the pre-dawn darkness, long before the first rooster crowed. He would bake his standard loaves for the day, and then, when the town was asleep, he would begin his true work. He tested, he failed. He adjusted, he tried again. He learned that a little more moisture here, a slightly different kneading technique there, could change everything. His failures were no longer sources of shame. They were his private teachers. He kept his notes, filled with frantic scribbles and breakthrough formulas, hidden away in an old, dented flour tin. Each small improvement, each tiny step forward, was a secret victory that fueled his determination. The more he worked in silence, the more his craft sharpened and his vision clarified. The outside world and its opinion simply ceased to exist in those sacred hours. There was only him, the dough, and the quiet hum of the oven. This silent dedication went on for months. Sion greeted his customers with a simple smile, never hinting at the revolution taking place in his kitchen after dark. Then, one crisp autumn morning, it was ready. He had finally perfected it, a recipe that was more than just bread. It was a culmination of 1,000 quiet failures and one resounding, silent success. As he pulled the loaves from the oven, An aroma unlike anything Larimore had ever known began to drift from his shop. It wasn't just the smell of baking bread. It was a warm, sweet, and complex fragrance that seemed to tell a story. It wafted down the cobblestone streets, curling into windows and beckoning people from their homes. Curiosity piqued. The townspeople began to gather outside the bakery. When Sion finally opened his doors, he was greeted not by a few stragglers, but by a crowd. He placed the new bread on the counter golden brown, with a perfectly crisp crust and a soft, steam-filled center. The first person to taste it fell silent, their eyes widening in astonishment. The bread was impossibly light, yet deeply flavorful. It was warm, comforting, and utterly delicious. One by one, others tried it, and the same reaction rippled through the crowd. Pure, unadulterated wonder. Word spread like wildfire. The line outside Sion's bakery grew longer each day. Soon, people from neighboring towns and even distant cities were making the journey to Larimore, all for a taste of the legendary bread. The once struggling shop was now the heart of the town, bustling with life and chatter. The same people who had once laughed at Sion's dream now stood in line, eagerly awaiting their turn. One day, a visitor, completely mesmerized by the loaf in his hands, finally asked the question on everyone's mind. "Sion, how? How did you create something so amazing?" Sion looked up from his work, a calm, knowing smile on his face. He wiped a dusting of flour from his apron and replied with 5 simple words that would become a town legend. "While everyone was talking, I was baking." And from that day forward, the entire town of Larimore and everyone who tasted Sion's bread understood the profound lesson baked into every loaf. When you guard your dreams with silence, commit to your work with discipline, and let go of the need for approval, your success will eventually announce itself louder and more convincingly than any doubt ever could. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear it. See you next time.